Ambassador Robert Scott, thank you for giving us some of your time. I know you're quite busy and you're jetting off to Seychelles straight after this interview. Now, you're deputy to the commander for civil and military engagement of the US Africa Command. Most of Mauritians don't know what this command is about. Could you tell us a little bit more about what you do exactly?
Sure. First, thanks for having me on, and it's good to be here. The Africa Command is located in Stuttgart, Germany. It is one of 11 U.S. combatant commands. So, not surprisingly, it's broken up by geography and sometimes by function. We cover 53 of the 54 countries in Africa. My position as the Deputy for Civil Military Engagement, I'm a State Department officer, so I'm not military, but I'm one of the two deputies, and that is by intent because the Africa Command sees security as holistic. So diplomacy, development, and defense are all integrated in the command as a approach towards security. I think all of our nations share that approach.
And when we talk about security, obviously the military side is quite important when we talk about that. And you, is your job to actually bring together that military side and also the civil side from the other countries?
Right, so I'll give an example of this trip. So my team and I have come down and we're going to Madagascar, have been to Madagascar, are currently here in Mauritius, and then are going on to Seychelles. The purpose of the trip is multifold. So we are here to once again underline our partnership, that Africa Command and our programs, as run through our regional defense attaché, who's here as part of this delegation, are important to us. And we're here on a listening tour to find out what the governments require from us, would like to see from us on the security side. Secondly, no surprise to anyone here, maritime domain awareness and the maritime issues are extremely prominent. We had an opportunity during our visit to meet with the Minister of Foreign Affairs, who's also your Attorney General. We met with the Home Secretary. We met with the Coast Guard leadership and met with the Inspector General of Police. So that underlines the breadth of the engagement. And each one of the conversations we spoke about various aspects of security. How do we, as countries, secure our borders and our seas and our airway to allow the citizens of our countries to pursue prosperity, freedoms? And so that is the intent here. How can we better partner? And specifically, again, it's maritime domain awareness. We visited a regional center in Madagascar. We will visit the other center in Seychelles, which Mauritius is integrated into as part of the IOC, taking a look at trafficking, illegal fishing. These are the important issues.
One of the things that we have difficulty doing ourselves is the security of our EEZ. How far is your program actually participating in this?
It's an enormous challenge for every country, but as you point out, I've come to learn 2.3 million square kilometers. That's absolutely enormous. It's a hugely important part of the economy, and it needs to be exploited for the people of the country. Every country shares that. So what we're working on is how do we collectively, regionally, understand what is going on in our seas. So first it's domain awareness. The regional centers integrate information so that the 700 or 800 ships that pass through your waters every day, you know who they are. Is that a cargo carrier? Is that a dhow that's coming from up north? Is that a fishing trawler? And then to differentiate between those who are there, who are transmitting who they are and letting you know who they are, and those that are not. And then the next step is, if those are not transmitting who they are they doing something that is illicit? And what can you do about it? And so that's the continuum of the discussion. I think we try to hook into every phase of that. Domain awareness by providing something like Sea Vision. It's a technology that allows you to know who the ships are. Then working with your Coast Guard. We also had a visit with the Coast Guard, which was very productive. Making decisions to go out and to take a look at it. And then all the way to what's called the legal finish. If you find somebody and they're doing something, taking fish from your population that should actually accrue a benefit to the people of Mauritius, then what does the country do about it? And so we're working across that spectrum, and that's what the visit was for.
And how's the collaboration between the American forces as well as the French forces and the Indian forces going on in that region?
I think we're all, I had a chance also to join our ambassador here, Ambassador Jardine, and counterparts, Indian High Commissioner, EU ambassador, French ambassador from Australia, Japan. in UK, we had a chance to talk about what we're doing collectively. And I think what you see is all of the partners, who are good partners, are seeing how they can fit in. But ultimately, it is your government that will determine the mix of security, which partner provides which resource and fits into your national strategies. And so we're here to find out more about your strategies, to talk about what it is we can provide, and to make sure that those lash up. It's really important. And it's also a sign of our commitment. As you know, we're building a new embassy here. It's an enormous construction. I think it's the biggest construction site currently in the country. But that's a symbol of our dedication to the relationship, that we're going to be here and that we'll continue to work on jointly things that are important to both of our peoples.
And maybe the last question, how important is this region for the global geopolitical perspective?
I think just during the conversations here, finding out how much shipping traffic comes through. Let's take an example. Ships that are diverted from the Red Sea currently are coming through. Those pose challenges to all the countries that they're passing through, of the waters that they're passing through. The risk of pollution, illicit trafficking, just understanding who's out there. Let's say there's an emergency. Can you go and deploy and help that ship out? The geopolitics are basically that of trade. The blue economy, I think, is so important here. With the EEZ, the size that you have, and the number of ships that are coming through, understanding what's going on there is important to you. I think it's important to every country, because trade is global. And the trade that's passing through your waters ultimately could bring a product to the United States or ship something from the United States somewhere else. And so we have a collective interest in that security. And that's what we're here to talk about, and to see how can we work together on this. It's incredibly important. I know that the IOC is meeting today, so you're banding together to deal with these issues. We are partners to the IOC as well. We had a nice dinner last night with the head of the IOC and IORA, and we talked about these issues. Again, we're very proud to be here. This trip is, again, another sign. I know we had a congressional delegation come. Our Deputy Secretary of State was here. So we're interested in being partners.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.